Hello and welcome everyone. Thanks to those of you joining us today for our demo of SmartSimple Scholarship Management Solutions. Hope you're having a wonderful, sunny Tuesday, wherever you're dialing in from. All right, so before we begin, there's just a couple of housekeeping items I'd like to cover. First, this webinar is being recorded and a recording will be made shortly afterwards. You're more than welcome and encouraged to ask all your questions over the course of the webinar by typing them into the Q&A box in the Zoom webinar console, and we'll be sure to address them following the demo. And as we begin, I'd like to introduce ourselves. I'm Jeff Cook, Marketing Specialist here at SmartSimple, and I'm also joined by Rachel Sloat, Research Analyst. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, everyone.
Those of you who attended 2 weeks ago the NSPA conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico, you might have already met her. She works very closely with other scholarship providers on defining and optimizing the features they need for a more streamlined, simplified process. And a fun fact about Rachel is that she actually used SmartSimple at her previous place of work for 2 years before joining the SmartSimple team. So she's a testament to the flexibility and efficiency afforded by our technology. All right, so here's what the agenda looks like for today. We'll start with a quick briefer on SmartSimple for those of you joining us for the first time. From there, Rachel will walk us through the key features for streamlining and simplifying your scholarship programs. And after that, we'll wrap things up with some Q&A. More excitingly, we'll draw one lucky attendee's name for the $50 Amazon.com gift card we're giving away. Just a note, the winner does still need to be with us in order to win, so make sure you stick around until then. All right, so SmartSimple software has been in operation for over 15 years, offering all-in-one cloud-based solutions for simplifying collaboration and streamlining how organizations of all sizes track, manage, and report on their programs. We often say that our clients come to us for the technology and stay for the relationship, being the only provider in our space offering live technical support 24/5 over the phone. From our perspective, what makes us stand out from other peers in our space is our perfected balance between technology and support, which we're confident you'll be pressed to find elsewhere. Our unique approach has led us to build a tight-knit community of over 300 clients, supporting over 115,000 users every month in nearly 200 countries across the globe. And what's important to note about SmartSimple is that we're a platform solution, not an off-the-shelf product. This means you gain the added flexibility and scalability to manage all of your programs, whether they be scholarships, awards, grants, or donations, all from one system. And because our platform is configured to the exact needs of your programs, instead of customized with code, your program staff can make these iterative changes over time without the need to hire costly developers. And finally, we maintain one of the strongest security profiles in the market with SOC 1 and SOC 2 Type 2 compliance, features to help you comply with Europe's General Data Protection Act if you're collecting any personal data from EU citizens, and support for single sign-on and multi-factor authentication. All right, so now that you're familiar with SmartSimple, I'd like to list some common challenges that come with managing scholarship programs. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but if your programs suffer from inefficiencies, you've most likely encountered some of these. So applicants may find it difficult or confusing to submit their application components, and they may feel in the dark when it comes to tracking down the status of their submissions. Program administrators and staff may be bogged down by tedious manual or paper-based processes such as matching applicants with awards and following up on submissions. They also may be spending too much time searching for, organizing, retrieving the data that they need. And finally, reviews themselves can make inefficient use of reviewers' time, or they restrict how or where they prefer to complete their assigned reviews. And from a result of that, reviewers may often require more support from program staff on guidelines or the review process itself. All right, so with that, I'll now pass it over to Rachel to show you through our solutions for solving these challenges. Rachel?
Absolutely. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So what we're looking at right now is the login page to the SmartSimple system. So as you can see, we have the ability to register new users. So if any of your users happen to be outside of the system, then we can go ahead and use the registration page to have them fill in their credentials and their email and create an account. Alternatively, like Jeff was mentioning, we do support single sign-on. So if you're coming from an institution or an organization where users such as the staff or applicants already have an email address and password, we can use the single sign-on option to keep everything all together. And that way you don't have to have multiple accounts and multiple passwords. The other thing that we can do is attach privacy and security policies, either to the registration page or when the user logs in for the first time, they have to accept those policies before they can enter the system. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign in right now as a student. And you can see here, this is an example of a student portal. Now, like Jeff was mentioning, the great thing about the SmartSimple platform is that it is just that, a platform, which isn't the same as a static piece of software. Our SmartSimple platform is like a series of building blocks, and we are able to configure those, as you can yourself, into different portals, different views, different layouts. So we are very flexible in accommodating your processes. So I just want you to keep in mind that as we're navigating through the system, this isn't a hard and fast way that things have to be displayed, and it isn't, you know, a set way in terms of processes either. So let me see here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the award search. And this is just going to link us here to a page of featured awards and also a award repository. So the great thing about these displays is that they actually all link back to the award records themselves. So they aren't canned, you know, lists that have to be updated manually. These all pull the data directly from the award itself. And you, as the user, are able to control how much information the applicant would see and decide which, you know, awards you want to be featured, that kind of thing. So the other option that we have here is to match with awards. So that is a really important feature to have when you're trying to streamline your scholarship administration process. Obviously, sometimes award repositories can be hundreds of awards long, and to be able to have your users match seamlessly with those options is really important. So what your applicants can do is either manually enter credentials about themselves, such as their grades or perhaps their interests, hobbies, extracurricular activities that might make them eligible for awards. Or if you happen to be integrating with maybe your university's, you know, registration system, all of that data can actually be pulled in so that when users want to find matches, then all of that data is already going to be there. They won't have to manually enter anything about themselves. So you can see here that in only 44 milliseconds that we were able to compare our credentials against these lists of awards. And we're given a score against each of these awards based on the number of matching criteria. So what we're going to do now is, if we pop back to the home page, we're going to go over here and look at our award management section. So this is just another example of a dashboard. So this dashboard is similar to this dashboard, which is similar to our home page. These are all different views that you can control depending on what you feel the needs of your staff, your reviewers, and your applicants are. If I click here into my profile, like I mentioned before, all users in the system will need to have a profile. And the great thing about this is that this will centralize all of the information about all of your users, including your staff and your reviewers. So you can see here that the system is capturing our students' grade point average, the faculty that they're in, And this can be done manually, or it can be done through connecting to your organization system. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to log out as my student, and I'm going to pop over and log in as a staff member so that you can see what a staff member might see. So again, this is another example of a dashboard, and all of these tiles and graphs and charts are actually populated by the data in the system itself. So these are the actual funds that are associated with different programs, and these are all of the submissions for this particular program. Now, the thing about the system and having everyone have a profile, this is really valuable because each profile is going to be associated with a certain role. And roles are important in determining what your user sees when they log in. So as you noticed, what our students saw when they logged in is different than what our staff member sees because they hold different roles. And you can get very granular with the level of visual security in the system. So like Jeff was mentioning, we have fantastic external security in terms of all of the compliance that we follow. But internally, the security is just as robust. So not only is security controlled by the role that users have in the system, but you can also permission different types of data as well as the status of the data, and even down to specific fields that people can see and people can't see at different times, and again, depending who they are. So what I'm going to do is, if I just click into some of these tiles, you can see that these are all connected directly to individual records in the system. So that means that these dashboards that you're looking at that are so visual and impactful are always updating in real time because they are the actual data themselves. So if I look here at the submission manager, this is where all of the applications that we receive are stored. And all of these different list views that we have are all controlled by the user as well. And these lists and these column headings are all pulling from different fields in the system. So if we look here at one of these, at the staff view of one of the applications, you can see that we have lots of different field types. So some of the fields that we have, that you have access to, include radio buttons, standard text fields. You can do rich text fields. We even have upload fields where you can upload videos, pictures, as well as any kind of text document that you would like. Another thing that we have is dynamic field visibility, which means if you click one option, then it's going to change the results that you have when you click that. So those are handy features as well. And as a staff person, one of the great things about the system is that you're able to make changes really quickly. So what I've just done is I've clicked into something called configuration mode. So I can really easily click on these fields that we have in the system, and I can go ahead and I can change the name, I can change the caption, I can change the options that are available. So you don't have to be like a computer programmer to be able to make changes to your system, but it isn't so simple that you're going to be missing out on some of the complex capabilities and processes that you would need if your scholarship system doesn't happen to be incredibly straightforward. So what I'm going to do now is pop over here to the awards manager, and you can see that this is where we have stored the actual awards themselves. And in the system, all of the data that we have is connected. So that means that all of the items in the system can be linked together. So even though the awards are stored separately to the submissions, the system will link them together so that everything can be tracked down to a granular level. We also have the ability to manage your reviews. So for example, this program has a review committee that's currently in process. We're able to go ahead and assign reviewers who are also registered in the system, and that means that they have their own login as well, which I'll show you in just a quick sec. And they're able to keep track of all of their reviews, all of their previous activities, all in one place as well. So you can see that this review committee also is linked to all of the actual awards themselves, and you can also see a full list of the reviews. You can see that our reviewers have been slacking. No one scored anything yet. So why don't we go ahead and log in as a reviewer? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the CRM. So like have been saying over and over, is that all of the users in the system have a profile. So this kind of by default makes the system a CRM because all of the user data that is stored in the system is available to staff members and to system administrators. So I'm able to go ahead and look through all of the different roles in the system and all of the different statuses. And if I just click the search button here, you'll see that I have a huge list of students. I have the list of reviewers. I have all of the users in the system at my fingertips. And those people also have I can click as a staff member into their profiles. And when I do that, I can see any applications they might have put in, any activities that they have associated. So you're really able to get a global view of everything that's happening in your organization or institution with regards to your award management process. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look for our reviewer. And I know her name is Michelle, so let me reviewer. And this is a staff member view of what our reviewer profile looks like. And if I click the options button here, we have a great tool called Emulate Session. Now, anyone who's ever had to deal with a system where you have external users would know that as a staff member, you often get a lot of phone calls about, I can't get logged in, this isn't working, my application doesn't look right. So the Emulate Session button will allow permissioned users like system admin or staff members to be able to log in as the person that they're looking at. And this is really great when you're trying to solve bugs, trying to replicate any issues that they're having. So I've logged in as my reviewer, and as you can see that this dashboard is a lot simpler. Often with reviewers, they can be outside of the system and it can take a long time to train them and get them up to speed, whereas this view is really simple. So you can see that they have different kind of data items they need to interact with. So these are just conflict of interest waivers. And if we click into one of them, you can see this is an example of a form that they would need to fill out. So I agree, there's date confirmed fields, all very, standard kind of form fields that are really helpful when you're doing your system online. So say, no, I don't have a conflict, and now I can proceed to the review itself. So let's look at one of these reviews in particular. So we're looking at Timmy Kimberling's application, and if I go here to the Show Application button, your reviewer is actually able to look at their rating form on the right-hand side, pick their score selections, but also immediately reference the exact section in the application that they need to. So for example, here is the references section, and on the left is the application itself and the letter of reference that was submitted for the student. So because, like I was saying before, our system is based on roles and different types of access, we can actually not only be really secure, but also be really collaborative. So anyone who wants to maybe make a group application, we're able to permission the system so that you can have multiple users be able to access one application, which is a really handy feature because in some of the awards that need to be given out, they can be quite large and do require some collaboration. So you can see here the way that we have set up this reviewer form is just to have very simple drop-down, agree, disagree, pointed systems. but we can accommodate different types of rating systems. So you can see here that after I filled those out and I click Save, that the system automatically added up my points for me. But like I was saying before, we're able to accommodate different types of scoring and different types of forms that you might need to have. So, okay, what I'm going to do now is end my reviewer session and pop over here to the fund manager. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to point out that we are able to integrate with different types of budgeting and financial systems. So if you need to keep track of donations that you might be receiving and feed those into a budget that then therefore feeds into a program, then you're able to keep track of that here. So you can see that this GRCF is the same program that we were doing the review for, which is the same program we saw the submissions for, and this is the exact budget that is tied into that award itself. So we're able to accommodate other users like donors. They can have their own portals as well where they can log in, give donations, receive thank you letters from any students that might have received funding from the money that they donated. So this is really handy because so many of the scholarship programs get funding from so many different places. So to be able to do adjustments, payments, disbursements, right in the system and have it tied directly to your financial system is really, really important. We can also accommodate messaging internally, and all of our applications feature unique email identifiers. So even if you were externally using email, you can always email that identifier and that will be stored directly onto the application itself. We can publish announcements, like you might have noticed on the student profile page. There were announcements that were listed on their profile, and those can be done by staff members themselves. We can also do text notifications as well as mass emails. So if we go back to our submission manager and I click all of our applications, you can see here we have a group email option, and you can pick which people associated with that award can be emailed as well. So it's not just the owner, it could be any reviewers associated with that award, any of the, maybe program officers. So it's really diverse in the ways that you can use the features in the system. Obviously, there's lots more things that we would like to show you, but I think we're starting to run short on time and we want to do some questions. But just so you know, if there's anything that you didn't see covered or if you have more questions, we love to do one-on-one demos because then we can really get specific process points from you and we can show you like exactly how our system could handle those things. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff now, who's going to check our...
Awesome. Thanks so much for showing us around the system, Rachel. All right, so at this time, we'll open up to any questions that anyone has for Rachel and what she just showed. Once again, you can type in your questions in the Q&A or chat sections in your Zoom webinar console. I'll give you a few moments to type them up. And meanwhile, we're going to draw our giveaway. All right. So I have a box here listed with everyone's name currently attending, and Rachel is going to pick one lucky winner. The like $50 Amazon.com gift card.
So much pressure.
Okay.
Okay. And the winner is Tiffany Goosebeth.
Goosebeth. All right. Congratulations, Tiffany. We'll be in touch shortly so you can claim your prize. All right, so looking at any questions, I'll just let everyone type them up if they have any. I have one for you, Rachel.
Oh.
So is your system mobile friendly?
Yes, actually. So it's mobile friendly in multiple ways. So if you were just to log in with the URL on your mobile device, our system will automatically scale to mobile display criteria. We are also mobile friendly in that we recently launched our SmartSimple app. So it's not necessarily a total replacement for the system, but you can take certain features like the application portion of the system and put that online so that, you know, obviously a lot of students would be very used to just having mobile devices, so you would be able to create an app where they can apply online.
Yeah, that's excellent. Actually, with our user community conference in Nashville, Tennessee, happening tomorrow, we actually built our own mobile app for that conference, and people were creating it just from SmartSimple. So you can really create your own mobile app in whichever way that you prefer. All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions, so I'll take that as a sign that Rachel showed everything that you need to see. And if you do have any follow-up questions, like Rachel said, do contact us. I'll leave it at that. So thank you so much for everyone who took the time to join us today for our demo of SmartSimple Scholarship Management Solutions. Like I said, if you have any questions about what you saw or features that we didn't get a chance to see, please contact us at sales@smartsimple.com or contact us at 1-866-239-0991. Look forward to seeing a recording of this webinar shortly, and I look forward to hearing back from you.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.